we've talked about a lot of your skills,
Hmm.
and they're prodigious. Huh, big word. Um, it's really impressive. But I want to know a little bit more about you personally. So,
Okay.
when did you know that you wanted to, or that you were good at helping people through hard transitions? Like when did that moment kind of occur to you that that could be something that you would possibly actually work on?
Mm-hmm. Probably, probably high school, 20s. I was never really good at the small talk. I was always into the deep conversation. I'm a Scorpion. There's just,
I
I think this
know, me
just
too.
comes, right, comes with the territory. You kind of go deep, fast.
Intense.
It gets a little intense. So, uh, I think that's people would actually confide in me and talk with me or ask me questions. And um, I just never held back. So, I think it started when I was pretty young.
So really, it's I think of that as kind of Socratic, like
Mm.
it's very Greek.
Mm-hmm.
That's that I think that like I think of Socrates, for instance, and sitting on the steps of the maybe the Parthenon, I don't know,
There you go.
in
Yes.
Rome,
Hmm.
and someone sitting at their feet or next to him and
Sure.
asking and discussing the philosophical questions of life,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and this is not a new thing. And I think
No,
people are
no,
really, really drawn to this type of Socratic dialogue throughout their lives where, small talk just really isn't as interesting, but what is interesting is the depth of people.
I think that the human condition is fascinating. And I think I also wanted to teach and I wanted to lead people through the emotional journey of being human. And I think that's what drew me to being an actor as well.
Hmm.
Just the exploration of what it feels like to be alive.
Right. And what about your own desires right now, or like aspirations or goals, or, what are you trying to give yourself permission to want in this world?
Oh, that's such a great question. I still want a relationship that works.
Yeah.
I'm still striving for that. And so I continue reading and studying and getting my own coaching and finding teachers to inspire me. I still am seeking a partner. And so what's great is in my growth, I get to give it back to clients and friends and people. But that's something that's really important to me. I'm very happy with my life. I'm very happy being single right now, and there's a lot of joy in not being in relationship. So it's not like I'm suffering or anything like that. But I very much want somebody to help complete, not complete. Ooh, that's like don't say the complete word. Don't say the complete word, Anne. I want somebody to um, have fun with, to like be with, to experience life with. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think you're talking about it's not so much, yeah, it's about having a witness to your life too.
Oh,
And
witness. Yeah. I do feel that there are many people who witness, but a playmate would be great. The one thing I do get is plenty of witnessing because you were my client, you were in witness of what I shared,
Mhm.
right? But somebody to play along with, to wake up with, to have coffee with, to play with.
Companionship, joy,
Right.
you know, activities that are
Sex. Let's
mutual.
just let's just, all of it.
Get down to it.
I don't hold back.
And is there something that you'd like to see happen professionally as well? Like, because it seems to me like you have, some really terrific forward momentum on a number of professional fronts.
I do, and I want them all to continue going. Like
Mhm.
I hope to be making commercials into my 80s. That would be a blast. I
Mhm.
probably won't be able to dye my hair, but at least be able to do something like that, or be editing and writing and helping business owners with their own voices out in the world. That would be great fun. My coaching, I hope to be coaching, if people hire me, that would be good. I think I have something to contribute. So that I'd like that to continue. Um I have my hands in a few real estate things, and so there's always something to stay busy with, that's for sure.
Yeah, you have no lack of resourcefulness or ideas about how to, you know, really follow through on your mission from high school. How do you help people through hard transitions?
Mhm. And also, I was thinking about this when people go through a divorce, there's either that fearlessness, or there's a lot of resistance, or there's a lot of vulnerability and victimization, but there's such opportunity to create life on your terms. That's the fun part of it all. Like, you get to decide what kind of world you want to be in, what kind of life you want to create. And I love that for myself as well,
Hmm.
right? Like, I try to exemplify that so that my clients know it's possible. I didn't have a writing, editing business. I didn't have a coaching business. I didn't have a real estate business while I was married.
Right.
I was a wife. So that opportunity to recreate my life or take on something new, that's always inspired me big time.
Yeah. No, you're a spectacular example of that, actually.
I think that goes with the resilience.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Do you think that's from growing up the way you did, like on a farm and that whole part of your
Yeah,
early
my
existence? Yeah.
yeah, people always laugh when they hear that I grew up on a farm. And we had a 40-acre farm. There were over like 125 sheep when I was in high school, and 5 or 6 goats that I milked every morning. We had cows that my brother milked, and horses, and a donkey, and a llama, and ponies, and pigs, and chickens, tons of
Wow.
chickens, and turkeys. Like, and then we grew all this food. My mother had 5 freezers. And
Wow.
so, like, I know how to do all of that. And maybe that's interesting, Anne. You asked that question about, is this part of, maybe because of how I grew up? What I did see year in and year out was the cycle of life.
Yes. Hmm.
All the time, the cycle of life, the cycle of nature, the cycle of animals, life, just everything about it. And perhaps that did influence. I'm going to have to think more about that. But certainly we had to be resilient, or absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
I know you
animals were,
pitched in a lot. I
say that again.
know you pitched in a lot. Everybody pitched in.
Everybody pitched in, everyone had to work. Animals were born and died regularly.
Mhm.
Uh, Crops would grow, and then we'd have to turn the garden over. We'd pick fruit and make jams and jellies or freeze it, and then the tree would go fallow for the winter and come back. Like, you grew up knowing, and I guess maybe even trusting, that life would continue.
Mhm.
Life would continue. And I think maybe that did, now that we say it like that, it probably did play in with my resilience.
I think so. When I think about you, that's one of the things that I think about. And I also think you also spent a number of years, many years in New York City, one of the most difficult places to live, fabulous as it is, as an ultra city dweller. So you
Yeah.
went from this one like type of lifestyle that you grew up in on a farm to the sophistication and challenges of living in New York City and being an
Yeah.
actor. which
I
is
think that's
really
why
hard.
which I am, right, and I think that's why, I'm still looking for that partner of mine,
Mhm.
because I need somebody who can go from, my mother always says, "He has to be able to wear shit kickers and a tuxedo," because she does, and
Yeah.
even though that was my mother speaking of me when I was younger, that's who I am. That's truly who I am.